This, I think there is some validity to this. In spite of the source, I think there is some validity to this. I think I've got all the intros and outros and everything for all the syndicated stuff. Hi, nerds! How are you? It's an episode today. One of the shorter ones we've had for a while, so I got nothing else. Don't forget to subscribe and definitely click the thumbs up if you like what I'm trying to do on the channel. More reaction videos are coming soon, and we'll get into that in the music section. That being said, here's an intro. Okay, so I kind of showed my cards a little early. Not really, but kind of. We're just going to jump head first. No housekeeping, no sponsor. Here's the news, nerds. So we have follow-ups in the music section. First, we're dealing with Alexi Laiho. Remember the passing of the Children of Bodom frontman was kind of a mystery when it happened. Well, it's been released in the last couple of days what it was that took him, and it seems that alcoholism that he was trying to deal with got the better of him. It was liver damage brought on by excessive alcohol drinking. Sorry, first day with the new tongue. And he also had a cocktail of painkillers and opioids and insomnia meds in his system, and the combination of all of that was just too much for his little body to take. So sad news, but at least his family now has closure and understands the full picture of what they were dealing with. That is kind of a bummer. That is the only bummer for the episode, so that's kind of a silver lining, I guess. Moving right along next to our next follow-up in the music section, that Atreyu record we've been keeping tabs on just got a release date, a title, and 2 more singles have released from it. So the 2 singles are called Warrior, which features Travis Barker on drums, which is weird. And then the other one is called Underrated. The name of the album is Baptize, and June 4th is the release date for this record. And they are now signed to Spine Farm. I really thought they were still on Hollywood Records, but Spine Farm it is. So yeah, that's what we got there. Links to both of the videos can be found down in the description. Moving on into the actual news portion of music, and we have one piece to talk about, and it's pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Music venues across the country are starting to reopen. So as of March 10th, Texas will allow full capacity of all businesses. As of the beginning of this week, Mississippi has already done that. And as of April, 33% capacity in New York. So music venues across the country are starting to be able to make money. There is one caveat with the New York thing. They are limiting that to 100 people if it's an indoor venue, or 200 people at an outdoor venue, and they all have to be socially distanced. So some of the smaller venues have complained that doesn't allow them to get to that 33% capacity. They are still only approximately 20% capacity and not really able to make money on that. But hopefully something good will come of this and we can stop closing down music venues. That is all we have, though, for the music section. In gaming and tech, we have one piece. It's very quick. Doom 3, that's right, the game that happened in 2004 on the PlayStation, what was that, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360? That game is getting a VR release on the PlayStation 4, or PlayStation VR, I guess is more appropriate, but it's built on the PS4 hardware. It's the same game, just in a VR headset instead of just an FPS on your screen. So a lot more immersive, probably those ridiculous jump scares that happened with the really slow gameplay, which honestly I didn't mind. I actually kind of dug Doom 3. Will be much more effective since you're in the VR. It's, like I say, it's much more immersive, but either way, it's the same game. If you played it once, you played it twice. Yeah, that's all we got for gaming though, guys. we're going to talk also very briefly about comic books. So that Infinite Frontier thing that we've been kind of sort of talking about, that's the next big thing that's happening right now in the DC universe, just announced that there is a new Supergirl, I keep wanting to say Wonder Woman, Supergirl book. Of note for the Supergirl book, the writer is Tom King. It sounds like the synopsis sounds interesting. I will link to that down in the description, but the art is going to be by Matt Lopes and Bilquis Evely. I know I'm butchering that and I apologize, but that's as close as I could come. So that is art and written by, again, Tom King. Not the biggest Tom King fan, but again, based off of this synopsis, if he can pull this off, I might become much more accepting of Tom King's work. Not gonna lie. Just sounds really, really interesting. Cara Zor-El kind of goes with another Kryptonian that it sounds like they're creating specifically for this story arc. Goes with another Kryptonian to find the people who blew up Krypton, and it's, adventure ensues. So it's going to be a limited series. I believe it's going to be 6 issues long, and it will be out June 15th for issue number 1. That's all I've got for comic books and books, though. TV streaming's a little long, so we're probably going to go a little fast. Follow-ups on TV streaming, we have the announcement that Superman and Lois has just been renewed for a second season, hot off of the first episode ever, which got higher ratings than The Flash, which is pretty impressive, considering The Flash has been the show for the Arrowverse, even though the Arrow doesn't exist anymore, for the Arrowverse for a long time. So that's pretty cool. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know if... I don't know when. At this point, it's an inevitability. I will watch it. I just don't know when it's going to happen. Next, we're talking about, and this is very well out of date already, and I just found this last night in my research. But we're talking about WandaVision. WandaVision, Paul Bettany made a really interesting admission in that his little teaser of the Luke Skywalker moment that we got from Mandalorian that they were trying to co-opt for WandaVision is really just Bettany working with himself. This isn't really a spoiler at this point. The previous episode has been out for a week. The most recent episode is out now, but there was the reveal that we got I forget the name of that version of Vision, but it's like the colorless Vision. I apologize. All you comic book nerds are totally going to hang me in the comments, but whatever. So he thought he was making a joke. Nobody got it. It was a dumb joke. The person he's always wanted to work with is himself, and that's what, kind of lackluster. We also have word from one of the producers that all of these fan theories are really awesome, but if you believe most of them or any of them, it seems, you're probably going to be disappointed by the final episode. I don't know what that means. Again, I have not watched episode 9, but just brought my expectations down a lot. That's what we have there. Next, we're talking about Asterix. So those that don't know, Asterix is a classic French comic strip. Yeah, that's the word. Wow. Things. Asterix has been going on for a long time in France. It's kind of an institution at this point, and Netflix is turning it into an animated series. Weird, because they're doing that with everything. This is very specific, though. It will be 3D animated. It will be based on the Asterix and the big fight story, where the Romans, after being embarrassed constantly by Asterix and his village cohorts, I'm just reading the synopsis, I apologize, organize a brawl between rival Gaulish chiefs, and try to fix the result by kidnapping a druid along with his much-needed magic potion. So hilarity ensues, man. It's going to be done in France, and a couple of the people who have done work producing and writing the actual comics are going to be show running the show with Netflix, so that's pretty cool. Moving on. Our last piece in TV streaming has to do with HBO Max. This is really weird, but kind of good for the rest of the world. So HBO Max is considering, Warner Brothers Media in general is considering doing a tier for HBO Max that is going to be cheaper than their current. I think they only have the one option, and it's like $16 a month, if I'm remembering correctly, because CEO Bob Chapek said, and I quote, that the rest of the world is not wealthy, unquote. No kidding, boss. All right. So this means that they're planning an ad-supported tier for HBO Max, and according to Chapek himself, they're planning on rolling this out sometime later this year. So if you don't have HBO Max yet and you want it and you're okay with commercials, or you just don't have the $16 a month, there you go. It's who knows what cheaper means to these companies too, because it's $16 a month. So $10 a month is technically cheaper, but like that's still kind of a lot of money. $120 a year for what boils down to one set of channels, like the set being like somewhere in the neighborhood of like 5 to 8 channels of what you would get content wise on like a cable or satellite service. It seems like a lot of money still, but we don't know that $10 is going to be the number. It could be 5, it could be 4. I'm hoping it's free and it's just that heavily ad supported, because then everybody can get that content, but who freaking knows? We're going to move right along. Let's talk movies, guys. So we have 2 follow-ups. First is quickie about that Dungeons & Dragons movie that kind of is slowly building steam. We have Hugh Grant has officially been cast as the villain. Who knows what that means exactly, but Hugh freaking Grant in a D&D movie? Either this is going to be huge and they've got a lot more pull than I'm giving them credit for, or he really needs a paycheck. Either way, could be kind of awesome. Our next follow-up has to do with Galaxy Quest. Remember we talked a couple weeks ago about how Tim Allen said that a script for a sequel exists. They just have to rework some things because of the tragic passing of Alan Rickman. Well, now Sigourney Weaver is adding fuel to the fire, saying that it seems to her that it is somewhere in early production. That's pretty freaking cool, because Sigourney Weaver's probably got a little bit more information than she realizes and just dropped a freaking bomb. We'll be keeping tabs on this as more develops, but we have to move on because that's all we have right now. Next, we're talking about Vampirella, the broadcast rights, effectively. So like movies and TV and streaming and all of that have just been bought out by Mike the Pike Productions Incorporated, and they're going to make it into a movie. Dynamite Entertainment. Where did the producers go? There we go. Producer Mike Neubauer of Mike the Pike and Nick Barucci and Juan Collado of Dynamite Entertainment are going to be the producers on the project. We're going to get a Vampirella movie, like a proper Vampirella movie. That could be interesting. I'm expecting it to be a steaming dumpster fire. We will keep tabs on it, though, as it continues. Moving right along, we're talking about an actual Star Trek announcement. That's right. We have a screenwriter for another J.J. Abrams produced, so presumably Kelvin Timeline, Star Trek. Sorry. Wow. Definitely different fandoms there. A Star Trek movie. So again, this is kind of announcing that it's actually being worked on. The screenwriter is no slouch in the Trek area right now, because she is a consulting producer on Discovery. Her name is Kalinda Vasquez, and she has been brought in to write, again, the script for J.J. Abrams. No word on who's going to direct or anything like that, but that's pretty freaking huge. Let's move on. Okay. We have a rumor mill that is so juicy, but is so short. So, first thing in the rumor mill is Andor. This is going to be a little upsetting to some people. We're not going to touch on the Star Wars thing, the video that they just released on their YouTube channel that gives the new Wookiee character a last name. That's just ridiculous. That's never been a thing ever. And then all of a sudden, because people who are in charge of this are not fans, don't know what's going on. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about. What we are talking about is the announcement, or the potential announcement. This is a rumor. It was made to seem as an announcement from a lot of outlets, but it's still very much a rumor. So, and we're going to get into something similar with The Mandalorian. Anyway, so the new rumor is that Ewan McGregor is going to be a regular on the Andor series. Now, if you look at the timeline, that also shouldn't happen. So the reason I said the thing about the Wookiee at the beginning is because that lends credence to this. So what we know of right now as canon in the Star Wars universe is that while Obi-Wan was watching over Luke, he was living in solidarity. We also know that, yes, he did technically fight and kill Darth Maul, brain fart. While he did kill Darth Maul in this same time period, that was still on Tatooine, and Darth Maul kind of came looking for it, so he kind of asked for it. But by and large, he was living in solidarity without really much contact with the outside world because he was just supposed to be watching over Luke. So, if he is a regular on the Andor series that takes place in this time where he's supposed to be living in solidarity, then I feel like they're going to alienate a large amount of their core fan base. That's just silly, but again, they gave a Wookiee a surname, so anything is possible at this point. As far as validity for this rumor, it does not come from a good source. It comes from a relatively weak source. It's just the same source is being propagated through other sources. You look a little bit deeper there, they all are quoting the same person, so it's technically all one source. Oh, but that Disney thing is really the Wookiee thing rather is really sitting on my shoulders the wrong way. I feel like it shouldn't be this high, but I'm giving this a 35% validity rating because wow, just everything that's been going on the last couple of weeks is a little ridiculous for the Disney camp. Next, we're talking about the Nintendo Switch. We have reports that say there is going to actually be an upgrade to the Nintendo Switch hardware very soon. This upgrade is not only going to increase the resolution on the console itself and use a new OLED screen, an OLED screen, but is also going to output a proper 4K signal when docked, sending the signal to your TV. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Because of the nature of this report, because of the nature of this rumor, and the source that it comes from, this is very, very likely. There's actually two huge sources, one of them being Forbes magazine, saying that this is very, very likely in the works right now. They cannot get hide nor hair from Nintendo directly, but when you're that big of a news outlet, like, it's not hard for you to get somebody down the road that's like, yeah, we made that for Nintendo. So likelihood that this is a thing, I'm not going all the way up. I'm keeping it back a little bit, being a little conservative. Validity to this rumor, we're looking at about 80% validity to this, just because, again, we've heard rumors like this for a long time. So either it's legitimately been in the works for a long time or Nintendo's secretly working on a new console, something, but something is in the works. We know that. We just don't know that it's this. Moving on to our next piece, we have the Mutants in the news, or the rumors, whatever. Mutants, not the X-Men, but reportedly there is a project that is somewhere in production over at the Marvel MCU, Kevin Feige-led unit, you know, the thing with the stuff and the awesome. The current name for this project is simply The Mutants. It is not the X-Men, though this could be a code name. The source does say this very possibly is just a code name. Considering the gendered nature of the name X-Men, I would not be surprised if this thing exists, that it stuck with that name, The Mutants, even though that's not nearly as iconic, nor does it quite roll off the tongue the same. This one comes from one source and one source only. I have not heard anybody else quoting this one source, so that kind of lends away from it. But again, I just wouldn't be surprised. I'm giving this one about the same that we gave our first rumor, and we're going at about 30% likelihood that this is valid. Our final piece of rumor is a rumor and is also being billed as something else entirely. So, It has to do with The Mandalorian. Cara Dune is the center of this. Surprise, surprise. So the Rangers of the New Republic, that show that they talked about, that Cara Dune was reportedly supposed to be, this one comes from a number of places, where Cara Dune was supposed to be the primary protagonist, or at least one of the primary protagonists for this series. Well, what with Gina Carano getting fired, and now very likely they're not going to recast. I don't care how many outlets are billing this as Cara Dune has been recast. No, that is not what this rumor says. This rumor says that the character has been replaced. The character she's being replaced with is Hera Syndulla. Hera Syndulla, who appeared in the Rebels and in the game Squadrons. This will be her first time in the live-action saga. So she'll be another one of those characters that's been in multiple iterations of the IP. It'll be her first time in live-action, so on and so forth. I think there is some validity to this. In spite of the source, I think there is some validity to this. This might not be the character they go with, but they're going to go with a character that is established somewhere else in the universe. That I think is a given. So likelihood, we're going to break this in half. Likelihood that they're going to replace the role of Cara Dune with another character, that somebody's going to serve that same purpose in this Rangers show. 95%. Like, there's going to be one badass female, and the other half that we're broken this into, is it going to be Hera? I don't think so. I'm going to put that one at about 50-50. That's a likely solution. I just don't know if it's the one they're going to go with. So that is your rumor section, nerds. That's also your episode. So what did I miss? What should we talk about in the next one? Let me know in the comments down below. If, though, you want to go deeper in the conversation, jump over to the website, generallynerdy.net, patreon.com/generallynerdy to support more directly, or just find me on the socials. Generally Nerdy is the name. It goes in under different variations. Just look for The Nerdy Ninja, and you will find me and all of the news and all of the nerdy things. Thank you very much, nerds. I am keeping tabs on some local cons that are hopefully going to be happening sometime this summer. So crossing fingers and hoping for that. By now, though, you should be seeing some stuff that's popping up on your screen right there to the right of my face. You should be able to click or tap one of those boxes to see other stuff happening here on the channel. Thank you very much, nerds. Before I go, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.